Lee Camp, welcome.
Hey.
Comedian, satirist, author, also host up until very recently of Redacted Tonight.
Also,
So
also
tell us,
unemployed.
yeah, also
Unemployed.
unemployed. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So Lee, tell us what happened. Why are you unemployed? Let's just start from the beginning.
Yeah, I co-created, hosted, and was the head writer of Redacted Tonight for the past 8 years, doing 300 and something like 70 episodes. And in the span of a matter of hours, RT America, where my show was hosted, was shut down, ending plenty of other wonderful shows like Jesse Ventura's show, Chris Hedges. And yeah, it was instantaneous. They gave us very little information. I'm assuming there's really only two possibilities, even though the mainstream media articles about it are not proposing these. But it seems pretty obvious that it was either literally the Justice Department or whatever government agency saying you're done, get out of here, or sanctions that were designed to make it literally a crime for RT America to continue to operate. So it's possible the executives at RT America were suddenly under risk of arrest. But those are the only two things that I can come up with that would, and you know, I have no inside info, but those are the only two things that I can imagine would cause instantaneous shutdown. Anything else, like, oh, they got dropped from this platform or that platform, that might hurt them, but it's not going to cause instant shutdown.
Okay, so it's not just that, oh, we're not going to be able to make money because no one's carrying us anymore. You think that
No.
it was something more like severe.
To me, that makes no sense. I mean, for one thing, they had plenty of money to operate for several months, even if they brought in zero new money. And then beyond that, they had a bustling online presence. Like, they would have continued to be seen by millions of people. And also, if it were like oh, we've got a staffing shortage and we don't have enough money, they probably would have cut back to just RT News or something. But there was none of that. It was just everything is gone instantly. And so the only thing that would ever cause that would be a fear of the executives getting arrested or literally just the Justice Department saying they're shut down, because this has been a steady ongoing crushing of RT America. The numbers of my show and all of the shows have been heavily suppressed online for the past 4 years, ever since Trump got into office, 4 or 5 years. And we were labeled with scarlet letters all over us. Oh my God, they've have something to do with Russia. And it was just crazy. It was garbage. I was censored on 3 platforms in the span of 3 days. My YouTube videos of Redacted Tonight were banned throughout Europe and UK. My show was gone. And on top of that, my personal podcast, Moment of Clarity, was deleted from Spotify in 3 days.
A lot of people, as you were saying, were celebrating censorship, saying that it's propaganda that comes off out of RT America. No one really can defend the idea that it's state media in a way that like CBC isn't, right? Because CBC and BBC, they don't
Yep.
have to say like Canadian media or British media. What people say is that no, there's just no dissent allowed. But I had Chris Hedges on my show, and he wrote a piece and has said on his show that what Putin did was illegal and unjust, and he fully
And
condemned it.
as
Yeah.
as have I on my show and on my videos. I mean, I didn't get many videos that dealt with the Ukraine crisis because we were already taping before it happened, and then we were canceled before I could address it. So there was very little I got to talk about Ukraine crisis, but I said clearly in all my videos that I was opposed to this. I think Russia's invasion is wrong, but I also give context to what's going on in the situation. How NATO has expanded over the years, how there are literally Nazi emblems like fucking on their helmets, involved in the Donbass region, and giving context. If people think giving context is somehow justifying, that's utter nonsense. We should be intelligent. We should understand the context of these issues. I can give context for why Martin Luther King was murdered. That doesn't mean I'm justifying the murder of Martin Luther King. Like, the idea that understanding a full situation and that the U.S. has done everything they can to push farther and further into Russia's, borders and create a military alliance that is pushing onto them. That doesn't mean I defend or support the killing of any civilians. And I was able to say that on RT America. I was never censored. I was never told what to say. I was never told not what to say. I have never been censored at RT America. And other people who have worked at multiple networks, they worked at, Ben Swan worked at CBS, Fox News, and one other one, NBC, and then RT. And he said by far the network where he had the most freedom to speak was RT America.
Brian Fredericks writes, one of the few things that the right and left can agree on is more censorship. That does seem to be the case.
It's a level of neo-McCarthyism that is just unheard of. People, pouring vodka into the streets and stuff. This is garbage nationalism beyond just the current conflict. The idea that everybody is their nation is just stupid.
Right.
It's jingoistic, nationalistic garbage that, we are not all the same people. There are a lot of people that love Donald Trump that I don't consider people that I would like to hang out with. But supposedly I'm just supposed to defend everything Biden and the U.S. military does because I'm American. The idea that every Russian is Putin is laughable, and it's a level of just ignorance that is just breathtaking.
What kind of experiences did you have at RT America? What were the types of things that you, like the context you were providing or on your show or other shows that now are not going to have a home unless the shows are picked up elsewhere?
Oh my God. So many of the issues that I brought up on Redacted Tonight, which I like the irony of Redacted Tonight finally being ended by being redacted.
Right.
But
today.
Yeah. But the number of issues I was able to bring up that are just unheard of on your mainstream media, just attacks by corporate America, just the horror show that is factory farming, climate change, even though it's mentioned by mainstream media, gets very little. If you look at the actual number of minutes of coverage by mainstream media, it is tiny. The fact that the U.S. is the number one prison state in the world, both by number and per capita, there are just so many levels. The $21 trillion of unaccounted for adjustments in our Pentagon, a number that no one can fathom. The 6 million, those are the latest estimates, 6 million dead from our war on terror over the past 20 years. These are the type of things I was able to cover weekly on Redacted Tonight. Many of the issues that the Yes Men highlight, like the Dow chemical spill or Chevron's oil spill in Ecuador, and Stephen Donziger and Assange. So many topics I was able to highlight on a weekly basis on Redacted Tonight that get essentially zero coverage on your mainstream media because they don't fit with corporate America, which is, corporate America owns our government essentially. So they don't fit with State Department talking points. And so they are not seen on your mainstream media. It's really sad.
Right. I mean, that's one of the things that a lot of people bring up. There's no dissent allowed, even though obviously people like you have condemned Putin, have called out things that the alleged government that controls your channel would not like to hear. But the other thing that no one talks about is that there's no dissent here. I mean, we saw what happened to Phil Donahue, right, when he opposed the war in Iraq. Right. And I actually find it I find in some ways it much more it's kind of like refreshingly straightforward when you have a news channel that's associated with the state government, because it's very clear what, to the extent that there are, right, maybe like a bias.
I'd say for the news division, I'd say that's true. That RT said they at least used to say, we are the Russian perspective of the world. And BBC used to say, I mean, I think they've covered it up since, but BBC used to say, we're the British perspective of the world. And that's how you should view their news department. I think for the opinion shows like mine and Jesse Ventura, you should take us each for ourselves and figure out what we stand for.
Right. But you don't have, this is the, Raytheon view of the world, which is what you're really getting when it comes to corporate television, right?